In a small American town in the mid-19th century, a little boy sat quietly in his classroom. He wasn't like the other children. He was curious, restless, and always asking questions his teachers could not answer. Why is the sky blue? Why do shadows move? Why can't humans fly? The boy's name was Thomas Alva Edison. One day, his teacher grew tired of his endless curiosity. With a stern face, the teacher handed a sealed envelope to young Thomas and said, "Give this letter to your mother. Only she should read it." Thomas ran home, handed the letter to his mother, and waited anxiously as she unfolded the paper. Tears welled up in her eyes as she read aloud, "Your son is a genius. This school is too small for him and doesn't have enough good teachers to train him. Please teach him yourself." Thomas hugged his mother tightly. He believed every word. What he didn't know was the truth. The letter had actually said, "Your son is addled. He cannot learn. We cannot keep him in our school." But his mother, Nancy Edison, refused to let the world decide her son's future. She became his first teacher, his first believer, and his lifelong inspiration. Thomas was different from the very beginning. He loved books, experiments, and machines. While other boys played outside, Thomas built small gadgets, took apart watches, and even tried to hatch chicken eggs by sitting on them. At the age of 12, he got a job selling newspapers on a train. But instead of just selling papers, he set up a small laboratory in one of the train's baggage cars. He filled it with bottles, wires, and strange chemicals. One day, a chemical spilled and caught fire, filling the train car with smoke. The conductor was furious. He threw Thomas and all his equipment out onto the platform, but even that humiliation didn't stop him. Thomas once said, "I never failed. I only found 10,000 ways that didn't work." This attitude would later define his life. At that time, people used oil lamps and gas lanterns to light their homes. They were dim, dangerous, and often caused fires. Thomas had a dream: to create a safe, practical electric light that could brighten every home in the world. It was an impossible dream. Many scientists had tried and failed. The greatest minds of the century had given up. But Edison believed failure was not the end. It was only a step closer to success. Day and night, Edison worked in his laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey. His team of assistants called it the Invention Factory. He tested one material after another, trying to find the right filament for the bulb. Bamboo, cotton, horsehair, even whiskers from a man's beard. He tried everything, but every experiment ended in failure. Some of his assistants grew frustrated. Mr. Edison, one of them, said, "We have tried 1,000 materials. None of them work. Maybe it's impossible." But Edison smiled and replied, "Impossible? Not at all. We have successfully discovered 1,000 ways that do not work. That means we are 1,000 steps closer to the one that will." That was Edison's magic. He never saw failure as defeat, only as progress. Yet the road was not easy. Edison spent all his money on experiments. His health suffered. Newspapers mocked him, calling him the Fool of Menlo Park. Some investors pulled back their support. Even his family worried. "Thomas," his wife whispered one night, "maybe you should rest. Maybe this dream is too big." But Edison's eyes shone with fire. "No," he said firmly. "If I stop now, the world will remain in darkness. I will keep going until the light shines." Finally, after thousands of failed experiments, Edison tried a thin cotton thread, carbonized to withstand heat. He placed it inside a glass bulb with no air, connected the wires, and switched on the current. The filament began to glow, first dim, then brighter, brighter still. The bulb shone for a few minutes, then an hour, then two. His assistants stared in disbelief. Edison's hands trembled as he whispered, "Gentlemen, we have it. The world will never be the same again." It was October 21st, 1879, the night darkness lost and light was born. News spread like wildfire. Crowds gathered outside Edison's laboratory to see the miracle of the glowing bulbs. Newspapers that once mocked him now called him a genius. Investors returned, begging to support him. Soon, entire streets in New York lit up with Edison's lamps. People stood in awe, whispering, "It's as if the sun has come down to earth." For the first time in history, humanity had power over the night. Edison didn't just invent a bulb. He built power stations, laid down wires, and created the world's first electric lighting system. The boy who was once called stupid by his teachers had changed the destiny of the world. Edison's story is not just about invention. It is about courage, persistence, and faith. Here are the lessons his journey teaches us. 1. Failure is not the end. Edison failed more than 1,000 times, but each failure brought him closer to success. Remember, every setback is a setup for a comeback. 2. Believe in yourself, even when the world doubts you. If Edison had believed his teacher's letter, he would have given up. Instead, he believed in his mother's words and in himself. 3. Dream big, even if it sounds impossible. At a time when even scientists gave up on the electric light, Edison dared to try. 4. Hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard. Edison was not born a genius. He created genius through sleepless nights, endless experiments, and an unbreakable spirit. Thanks for watching this video.